Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about finances and how it's going to affect you. And I got another interesting topic today about the economy and why I think it's going to get a lot worse before it's going to get better. So I got a lot of comments on my last video. So go there and watch it before you watch this one about how I think the economy isn't in a good spot, how it's the claim to make it. And today I actually got some even worse news about it. And I did some research on it actually yesterday night where I was laying in front of the TV, and it came to an article that said every American basically has about $6,500 in outstanding credit card debt. And so I was looking at it and I was like, that is a lot of debt for one person to have just for it. But it's absolutely right. We have right here, it says we have between $6,200 and $6,500 in credit card debt. And so came to me to look at it. It's like, okay, so this isn't what people pay off every month. This is a rolling balance, right? So I came to me of thinking, so what is the APR, annual percentage rate of that debt? What does it cost us? What does the consumer have to pay for having that? And so I have American Express shown right in here, and that is 29%. It could go anywhere from 20 to 29%. I thought that can't be right. So let's try Capital One. And the same thing. It's almost like they increase it to the maximum amount that they can possibly have. So the Quicksilver Reward also has 29% from Venture One Capital. They all have from $19.99 to $29.99 on a carrying balance. So that is almost like $1,800 a year if you keep that balance for the $6,500. That is huge. And now it's going to get even worse because people need to live somewhere, people need to drive cars, and people have housing. So carrying $6,500 in a balance isn't necessarily too bad if you have a huge income. So now I'm only looking at averages. So there's going to be people with no debt and people with 15, 20 plus $1,000, right? That's how an average works. So when I look at it, it's like, okay, what does the average American household make a year, right? So it says right here about $74,000. Okay, that's great. So let's see how much that is from the income, the yearly income. What percentage is in credit card debt? So people have like 9 to 10% in credit card debt of their income. That is huge because we pay 25% in taxes, something like that. So it's almost 35% just goes away with payments and federal and state income taxes if you live in a state. If not, then you don't. But it is crazy to see how expensive everything got. So, okay. So follow me. So we have $74,000 as a household income. Then we have $6,500 in credit card debt. But not everybody can just walk to work or use the subway or something quite inexpensive. I don't know how much a subway is now in New York or someplace, but it's probably not cheap anymore. But now let's look at how much car payment is, because you've got to get to work somehow if you don't work from home. So I got that number too, and that number is $726. The average monthly for a new car is $729, and the used one is $530. So that is quite some money, because that is a monthly payment that you got to make on top of the credit card payment that you got to make so you don't get delinquent on it. So we got that. So now I'm looking at it like, but not everybody has a car payment, right? So when I look at that, I was like, okay, who here takes out a car payment? So, because not everybody does, some people buy in cash and whatnot. So I Googled how many people actually take out a car payment. And I got that article here, and it says about 40% of consumers take out a car payment. So now we're looking at a few $100s a month in the credit card interest balance, right? That you just gotta pay because you took out that money and you have a rolling balance. That's one thing. And then you got to pay for your car. That's another few $100s. So we're almost at about $1,000 if you got a new car, and like $800 if you got a used car. and you haven't even driven anywhere. You haven't even gone anywhere. You haven't even purchased insurance yet. So then insurance is another $100 a month. So you're almost at 1,000 and 1,200 on the other one. So insurance and gas and whatnot, and oil changes. So you're already at $1,000. You haven't eaten. You haven't paid for rent yet, or your mortgage, and you're just existing. You just woke up in the morning and you just paid $1,000 just to keep your apartment, and you look outside the window and you see your car down there, but you haven't driven it. So, and then day two comes around, so you've already paid $1,000 for the car and insurance and all that kind of good stuff. So then you pay another $1,500 for your rent. So you're already at about $2,500 to $3,000, and you haven't even eaten. You haven't even done much. And so that is just crazy how expensive everything got. And these people that aren't making that much money are always the middle class. It's never these high executives that have these glorious idea of, oh, we got to come back to the office, do things, and we're not going to promote you like they'll, when you're going to be home office. No, it's always these other people. It's always these high ups that have millions of dollars. And I'm not talking about them. I'm not talking about you have $6,000 in credit card debt when you make $500,000 a year. That isn't what we're talking about. We're talking about the people that are making a household income of $75,000 and actually have $6,500 in credit card debt. But when you read it, it says per person. So a household normally is husband and wife, or husband, wife, whatever now that you guys got going. But that means two people. So it's actually double that. And then it's 12,000, and that's even more detrimental to everything. So why would that be more detrimental? So at one point, you cannot take out any more credit cards. I know that seems crazy, but at one point, the bank's going to be like, yeah, no, you're done. We're not going to give you a new loan. We're not going to renew your credit card or give you another one. Nope. Even though you made minimum payments, no, we're done. You got to pay some off or do something. Or they'll just give you a super high interest rate that's, even unheard of. So I'm from Switzerland, as you guys know. And in Switzerland, there is a law that you cannot charge more than 14% interest APR. Everything else after that is legal robbery. And I kind of agree. I think that everything over 14% of annual APR is highway robbery. It's just ridiculous. And I bet you these perks of the credit cards are funded with those people that don't pay. So for you to get a free flight, they're banking on it. They're banking on it that you are not going to make your payment on time, so they can give you more perks, more signing up bonuses. They can give you a free trip to Mexico. They can give you flight miles. They can give you free meals, Uber Eats. All these kind of freebies that a credit card offers are probably paid for by these people that cannot make their payments, and that they're going to tack on the $1,400 or $1,800, depending on, how long you have the balance. So how's that going to affect the economy, and how's it going to affect you? If you're a small business owner or a bigger one, and you own a restaurant, you own a small business that is heavily reliant on people to come and you're a service contractor, you're a lawn care business owner, something like it, you are going to need people to outsource to you. So you need to have them, help you cut your lawn, help you do things, right? Or, go out to eat. But when people don't have the availability on their credit card anymore, they cannot do that. Either you're not a priority for them, or you're not important enough for them to spend the money on it. Because it's going to be interesting to see, once the money dries up, the credit card, you can't reuse the credit card, what are people going to stop? What industry are people not going to utilize? Because once that's dried up, you cannot get another credit card. So what are they going to stop? Are they going to stop going out to eat? Gym memberships? Are they going to stop traveling? Are they going to stop going to the cinema? Are they going to stop going um, to bowling? Are they going to stop playing pickleball or something? I don't know what it is, what's going to break, but there needs to be players to go to zero. Kevin O'Leary said it right. In every big recession, players need to go to zero. So if you're a small business owner, you need to somehow find innovative ideas of making extra money so you can weather the storm, because as we're in a downwards market, and we clearly are, everybody else in the comments said it, they just haven't realized it yet. I don't know if this is because of the election or whatnot, but as a business owner, you need to make a profit and you need to keep your lights on. So you need to figure out ways how you can keep everything going while you're making enough money to provide for your family. And a great comment the other day was, I used to get 100 inbound leads, now I only get 10. So now we're at a spot where everything's down by 90%, because I felt that with Allison's coaching business, with everything else that we had going on, it came down. Sales volume came down, repo rates are up. Who figured that, right? You guys went out and bought these big Tahoes and all these crazy fancy cars over asking price. Now people can't afford it anymore, and they're running around, and these dealerships crying now, oh, we got screwed. No, you guys screwed yourself over, and shame on you for screwing the customer over, because the repo lots are full and nobody's buying now. So for a quick in and out, you got in, you got out, you basically screwed over your core customer. And now you're paying a price for it. You are now the dealership, you're now in trouble just as much as the consumer is. So it's not like the consumer standing in their grave being like, ha, ha, ha. No, you shot yourself in the foot and basically screwed over the customer. And while you did that for a paycheck or, for profit, you screwed up your future earnings down the road. And not every dealer, but some of them are. So, because if you wanted to lease a Tahoe or rent one of these, Suburbans that I tried to do last year at the dealership, it was going to be like $1,300. It was like over $100,000. And now car prices came down, EV markets are down. And now you as a business owner or you as an individual need to be super careful what your next moves are. So as an individual, you need to be super, super resilient, come up with a financial plan, try to get out of debt, try to build up a few months worth of living expenses, because if something happens to you, there's no lifeline. You are not Jamie Dimon, the CEO of a huge bank that can just call up the government and say, hey, I need a stimulus package, and lobby for it a little bit and get $1 billion bailout. And so he's not going to take any pay cut. He's just going to, do something in the back doors type of dealing and get more money that obviously the common folks like you and me probably can't do. We can't just turn on an unknown money source and just have it pay us out big time if we're in some sort of trouble. No, we're reliant on people having money, and we got screwed out of all that. So now we need to somehow get ahead. And I've been racking my brains around it. How do we get ahead? Well, we need to get a good job. But these job postings that I'm seeing online are tremendous. I just saw yesterday somebody on TikTok saying that they've got an entry-level analyst position in New York, not remote, in New York City for $44,000 a year. How do you live off of $44,000 a year full time in New York City? That doesn't even cover your living expenses. So how do employers have the guts to tell you that during an interview and you not laughing and saying, you wasted my time for $44,000? Is that with experience, not an entry level, an experienced role with a few years of experience in New York City, where you almost need $160,000 just to keep the lights on if you want your own apartment. And so, number one, you need to get a better job. But it's hard right now because you might get laid off. So how do you find that out? Well, you got to make sure that you're not that easily replaceable, and you got to really show your skills. Because 2 years ago, you can just walk away from your job and find another one in no time. Now, not so easy. Second thing you got to do is do a budget. Me and Allison's been cutting down on eating out, on taking expensive trips, because we know that there's going to be opportunities down the road of people that mismanage their money. There's always recessions creates wealth. So there's going to be people that are selling their stuff for pennies on the dollars because they can't keep it. They've mismanaged. They had circumstances that were out of their control. And I'm not saying that that's a good thing, but I'm saying that people that mismanaged their money and didn't do it right, there's going to be opportunities, foreclosures coming. There's going to be all these great opportunities down the road, but you got to have the capital and the money saved up to make moves. So we've been preparing to make some moves, and I will definitely keep you posted what we're making. And maybe it's a boom or maybe it's a bust. So subscribe and let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next video.